Work after that one, Ken.
Waiting for. Are we ready to go, are we?
Yeah, I think we're ready to go. Let's just keep going.
It'd be an idea if you took the lead out of their Norts and tried to shut the door.
Oh, I can't.
No, but you could actually take it and put it over in the corner.
Well, plug the camera.
Hold on, Rich. Someone knows what they're doing. Right, sorry, go here.
Can we say attack, defend, attack? And that's a summary of the four quarters.
We started off pretty well, and clearly they come back at us. But in the end, we were brave enough at the end that we did keep coming, and we've done what we've had to do a number of times, and that's to play really to the end of the game, right to the end, and we did it again today.
Did you think you were in trouble at any point in the game?
No, look, I suppose it's easy to say now. I don't think so. I don't think I felt like we were always capable of scoring when we went forward, but we just weren't. We didn't have any polish about how we went forward in those middle two quarters. The second and third quarter. To their credit, they were able to put us under enough pressure that forced us to handball the ball too much, and defended us really well.
Ken, how much of that was about the wind out there, or was it just bad decision making at a bad time?
Well, the wind probably. Jackson perhaps can answer that better than me, but clearly it's difficult conditions. I mean, the wind does make it hard, but there were some bad decisions being made too as well, and there wasn't enough composure. I think that we felt a bit more pressure than was actually going on at times, and we turned the ball over with simple skill error.
Did you read the number when you get more than 100 disposals?
Sorry?
Can you read the numbers when you get more than 100 disposals in your opposition? Is it
I know it's
sign you're overusing it, or is it a sign of dominating and not putting it on?
No, I think it's a sign more of overuse. Not knowing the correct way to go forward with the method, and that then allows them to put good pressure on us and then turn the ball over, and they made the most of their chances going forward.
How's it like out there, Jackson, in terms of that wind?
It's definitely there. As Ken said, I think it was a little bit of both. It was a bit of a mixture of the wind and then us using the ball. I think we probably made a few more errors than what we would have liked, but the wind was definitely out there.
That's hard on Ken.
Well, it's an interesting one because he's had a little sublux of his shoulder, I'd imagine. That's the way you'd describe it, but enough that it wasn't that bad that he couldn't go back out and play the game out, which was pretty brave of Hamish, to be honest, and to get out there and play again. So we won't know for sure. We'll have to obviously do scans and assess that and see how he goes. Obviously, with a few games to go, we'll make a really calculated decision on the future for Hamish. We won't take any risks with him.
You did actually take a decision might be taken out of your hands by another issue on the ground?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll be really honest. I watched it a number of times in the box. I'm not sure if anyone can help me. I'm not sure there was any contact to the head as far as anything illegal. Yes, it was a really strong bump. Sebi Tape's a brave young fella, and it may have been the collision on the ground that may have caused most of the problems. You can see Hamish has clearly had a little bit of a knock to the back of his head too. So look, in the spirit of the game, I think he was there to be shepherded. There wasn't too much in it. I'm not sure obviously the evidence will be what the video actually, when you slow it right down and see what the collision looked like. So I'm not sure what will happen. We'll let the AFL take care of it though.
So, Ken, what was the state of the bench in the last quarter? And how many were down to?
Oh no, we're okay. We still had three, but we sent Hamish back out there, who said he was okay to go back out. So we made that decision, but we were a little bit mindful. Hitchcock had obviously gone out early in the game, which probably as much as anything that hurt us a bit because he was pretty lively for us early. So when we were running, okay. So, but we were okay.
Can you walk us through the thinking on how you used Logie after half time, particularly at the start of the third term? Did you want him to run or not want him to run and put him forward?
We wanted to change something because we weren't getting what we wanted, so that was the biggest thing. Loads has been really good for us again. Lots of hit-outs, but we just didn't get any real penetration from his hit-outs. In fact, a lot of the times they were able to clean up a lot of that work, and that's not what we want. So when you like that, you need to change something, and it's sometimes it's not out of because of he's not doing his job well. It's just to give them a different look. And I think we needed to do that at that stage. But in the end, Loebs is in there as our ruckman. We want him as our first choice ruck.
Is that because you felt they had too much first possession?
Yeah, they read his taps a lot and obviously got onto the ball quite a bit when we probably looked like we had enough dominance in the air, but as far as the ruck taps, but they were reading it so much better.
And Heath as a forward, what was the idea of that?
We think Campbell can give us a lot of hardness in any area of the ground that he plays in. He's certainly brave in the air, and he fights really hard for us. He'll tackle, he'll chase, and that sometimes is what you want in your forward line as much as any other part of the ground. And I think he ended up with a couple of goals, I reckon. A couple of goals, so he certainly played a role, and he gives us flexibility because we know we can send him to the other end and free us up as well. We did want a marking type player, and he has got a good set of hands on him.
And Wines as a sub, is it because you wanted to manage him through the game and then that gets upset by him?
Yeah, it's twice now that we've tried to give Ollie a little bit of a game day rest, and we've had a first quarter injury. So I'm sure Ollie's pretty happy about it that he gets on the ground. But yeah, we certainly wanted to look after him a little bit more this week if we could. That didn't happen. Ollie will continue on and he'll play another game next week.
How do you feel about the way it's all shaping up now that round 23 is looking like a huge playoff for the Carlton?
Whatever happens, happens almost, and we control ourselves a little bit. We're in a position now that we've got a 2-game break in the position that we hold on the ladder, and if we're good enough, and we do, we'll get what we deserve. There it is.
Jackson, does it feel like you as a team are playing as well as you have been and as well as you like to be?
I don't think we're playing as well as what we have, and probably not as well as what we would have liked to. I think we're working really hard at training during the week. I think we had probably one of the best weeks on the track than what we've had all year. So I think it's just a matter about going about it during the week. We'll continue, and this week coming up, we'll train as hard as possible, and that form's going to turn around. We think that if we just keep working hard on it at training, it's going to turn around in games, and we think we're not far away. We think it's just a few little tinkers with what we're doing, and it'll be a good time of the year to turn it on very soon.
What are some of the things that you'd like to tidy up or improve on?
I think the skills today.
Yeah.
You've seen that out there. I think, the skills and probably a bit of our defensive side of things, we've made a fair focus on it, and that's what we want to be known as a football club, a really good defensive, hard unit, and, we've got a bit of work to do, and it's good that we've got some work to do, and, we'll work on that as hard as possible this week, and hopefully you see it next week on the game day.
Just how do you feel when you're thrown into that ruck challenge?
Yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy going in there and having a bit of a run around and, giving Lobes a bit of a chop out. It was only in there for 5 or 6 minutes or whatever it was, but I just go in there and try and jump. And I'm no ruckman, but just have a crack. And
Is there a specific structure given you about how you should approach it? Is it
I think I've got a little bit of freedom just to run and have a jump. I think, if you get too many instructions, you clog up your head a little bit too much. So for me, it's probably just go in and compete as best as I can and get the ball going forward. And, I enjoy having a bit of a run around. I try and give Kenny a little bit.
training so that guys know where you're going to try to hit it or where they should set up? Or
I've done a little bit. I don't overdo it, mate.
is it a lot of it on the fly for you when you go to run?
A little bit. Speak to Boki and the boys that are in there, and we've got a really good connection. So I find that when I just go in there, it sort of happens. It's we've got as I said, me, Boki and Robbie Gray, I think have got a good connection when we're in there. So I'm only in there for 5 minutes. So Lobes is doing a terrific job, and he'll continue to be our number 1 ruckman all year.
Do you think the captaincy is propelling himself to the level he's at?
I never want to be too sarcastic, but I think his form's pretty much telling you that. He's an incredible leader for us this year, and I've told him that in rooms. His games this year, when we've needed our best players to stand, I make no secret, I tell them all the time, as leaders, you have to play well on game day. That's the most important thing you do for this footy club as a leader. And Travis, bar none of them, has been outstanding, and clearly he has grown as a footballer this year.
You go from players, what do you suggest like what Travis has been able to do this year?
Yeah, he's been a super leader for our football club. As Ken just said then, whenever the game's there to be won, Travis always puts his hand up and goes and wins the ball, or gets the boys up and going. So from the player side of view, he's been super this year, and I think his form, as Kenny just said, it's shown why he's a really good captain for our football club.
Does it surprise him? Did you know that it was him?
He wouldn't have put him captain if it was going to surprise him.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I mean,
Yeah, no, it doesn't surprise me.
Can you just say about you would play Gary Ablett in the spirit of the game, and Guy McKenna describes Kane Collins as very honourable in the way he approached it. In terms of giving him that role against Ablett from start to finish, how do you think he handled it?
Fantastically well. I mean, Gary was. Gary's an incredible player. Perhaps could have got away to a pretty good start when he had a couple of shots at goal early in the game, but Kane's credit, he just sticks at it. And he knows that the last time they played, Gary probably got the upper hand early, albeit under a bit of pressure. But, he's had I think, 2 of the last 3 times now, Kane's come away with, I would have thought that he would have come away with a points win again today. And we know how damaging, my thoughts on Gary, my admiration that I have for him, he's a great player. And to be able to square the ledger, if that's what we did today, we're pretty pleased.
Is there a reason why you didn't want him to follow Gary when he went forward?
Yeah, I know Gary very well. He's an incredibly strong player in the forward line, and we've seen his dad do it for a long time ago. I think at some stage Gary Ablett Jr. is going to end up in a very similar position and probably kick a lot of goals too. So we know that Jonas is our best matchup for those types of players when they go forward.
Jackson, you've been a really key player late in games for a couple of matches now. Do you enjoy that special role, that responsibility that's on his shoulders?
I think as leaders, I mean, Kenny puts it on us a fair bit, and just chipping in for the team. I mean, I think us as a group really stood up in big games when, you know, we're probably down and out, people would think. So for us as a group, I think we're able to respond to Kenny's what Kenny's after, and I think that's a really good trait to have as a young side.
How much voice is out there?
Voice?
Yeah. Between you and your mates, how much do you talk?
Yeah, fair bit. we try and talk. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure about that one.
How difficult is it now to assess whether a bump and its repercussions of an accident is part of what our sport is anyway?
It's hard. It's really hard to assess. I mean, there's no doubt. Not that long ago, we wouldn't be talking about Hamish's bump. There's no doubt about that. But we know, and I've said that before, we know that the AFL will take care of that and they'll make the rulings on that. But it was in football as we know it, was a pretty fair bump. Unfortunately, the young fella, Sebi's, got knocked out, and that's not something we want to see in the game either. But as I said, I think the bump, from what I've seen, was a pretty fair bump. Now, whether the collision on the ground and that's caused the biggest part of the injury, I don't know, and the AFL will rule on that.
Did you like the way they can hold a player responsible for what happens?
Do I like the way?
They will hold players, you know, the match review panels, that you've got a sense of responsibility, duty of care to your opponent.
Yeah, look, it's one of our players. I don't want him in any trouble. But yeah, I think I am. I think it's okay that we look after the player and we protect the head. And you know, we don't want anyone badly hurt in our game as much as we can avoid it. But I also want to make sure that we can actually still play physical game of football, because that's why everyone grew up playing. They played the game because they could play a contact sport. And look, accidents will happen, and that's clearly what that was today.
So how tough is that for you guys, Jackson, to know where the grey area is? I mean, it's grey, so how do you know which side of it to be on?
Yeah, I think it is tough. I mean, as Kenny just said, as growing up, it's a contact sport. We know that there's going to be collisions, but you know, we don't like seeing players get hurt like today. That was a very big clash, but you know, from what I've seen, it was a really fair bump, and you know, I enjoy the physical side of football, and as most players are very competitive and enjoy that side of football. So I don't think anyone wants to see it go, and you know, I haven't even seen it in replay or anything like that, so I can't really comment on the exact incident.
Bumping? As in, gee, this might have repercussions, even if I'm trying to do the right thing.
I think you think twice about it, but I don't think you can worry too much. It's a physical game. You've got to live in the moment, and I mean, Hamish lived in the moment, and as I seen it, it would look really fair from behind. But you know, you know what the penalties are if you do hurt someone.
Any idea on the severity of Hitchcock's, Henry?
No. Well, it was enough that we took him out of the game early. So it's obviously, in any time you're going to hamstring injury, you would suspect your best case scenario is a couple of weeks. But Scam will confirm everything for us. You wouldn't take him out of the game if we thought it was only tightness. We'd probably hang on a bit longer, but we think he's probably got a little nick there somewhere.
Heath with that wrist?
Yeah, no, I think he's okay. He's a pretty tough bloke, as we talk about, and you know, he'll handle that okay. Cole Hulme was the other one that we made the decision late. Sammy just had some hamstring tightness from his back, and there was nothing more than that in it. We expect Sam would probably come up this week, and we didn't want to take a chance. He's a young player, so we just made sure we erred on the side of caution. But I would expect he will play next week against Freo.
Are you concerned about whether it's going to be a final 8 or a final 9?
No. Concerned about the way we play, and as much as we can control as much as we can, and that's the only thing I'm concerned about.
Thanks, Scott.
Come on,